Oh, hello. Yes, just wanted to do a bit of a longer dive into a GB News segment with three comedians. So, laugh a minute, possibly.
Rich, when she comes on and then says, you know, this is what I believe, and you've already been told that this is just a persona. What do you think, Ian? Does she really believe it, or has she chosen to believe that because it's the right thing to be appearing to believe?
I have no idea what she...
Okay, yes, Ian, Simon, and Leo. Does Lorraine Kelly believe what she's saying about trans people? Well, presumably she does. I mean, Lorraine Kelly's show goes out. It's a kind of late night version of various segments on daytime TV, sofa sort of comfiness. So she would have no skin in the game to sort of magically make up something for a woke ITV audience, presumably. So let's assume, for the sake of argument, that she does.
believes it or not, I wouldn't know how I would...
Don't you ever get the feeling that when people say, I believe that trans men are men and trans women are women, it's a little bit like in Peter Pan saying, I believe in fairies, I do, because that will bring Tinkerbell back to life, but nevertheless...
Right, I mean, that's just deeply patronising to Lorraine Kelly, presumably. Basically, her beliefs are not real, trans people aren't real. Again, really strange to slag off Lorraine Kelly's audience, pandering to them, and his comedian on GB News pandering to that audience. I do find myself the last week or so, because of various stuff around Kathleen Stock, sort of discussing, in inverted commas, with people on the internet, whether or not trans people are actually real. And you can point people in the direction of the science, and even when you do that, they still basically will say to you, I don't believe it's real, which might be a kind of Tinkerbell thing. Anyway, that would appear to be quite a sizable segment of the audience here. Indeed, the panel. Let's move on. Thanks, Simon.
Does it have a little bit of that tang?
Well, this story, the whole thing with Kathleen Stock and Sussex University, wasn't it, really? Yeah. The thing that concerns me is that students are not getting people coming up against them who are disagreeing with them and saying, no, you're wrong. Because I'll tell you what, you'd rather have that happen when you're at university than when you go out into the real world, because it's much...
Okay then, yeah, okay, let's also be lazy about students, shall we? I imagine that the student protesters at Sussex University have access to the internet and are aware of the news story that they themselves, in part, were generating. So how would they not be presented by a different point of view, bearing in mind that almost every media outlet out there, apart from maybe Pink News, and maybe one or two very, very fringe others, are going to be covering this story as nasty people having a go at poor Ms. Stock. Anyway.
More brutal out there, isn't it? You're going to be
it's now populated by people who've been at university.
How scared they're going to be when they sit next to Leo and he goes, wrong. Start crying, won't they?
Right, yes, and again, there we go. Young people are snowflakes, aren't they? They can't deal with a bearded guy telling them they're wrong. From a position of, well, I don't know, ignorance? Yeah, probably. Anyway, the next bit, I don't know. This might be where the joke is. I don't really know.
Actually, we haven't got enough carbon dioxide.
That sort of stuff. So I think that is...
There was that. I don't know. So it's funny that young people are concerned about climate change? I don't really understand that. Maybe I'm just being a killjoy. Yeah, I am, aren't I? I'm just one of those sour-faced left-wingers, but... Sorry, you get three comedians in a room, and that's the best they can come up with? Anyway, let's move on from the lazy stereotypes to, well, some more lazy stereotypes. Come on, then.
Is where the problem is. As for Lorraine Kelly, I haven't thought about Lorraine Kelly much in the last 10 years, to be honest with you.
But these people, it's a fair point, I think, to say that yes, universities shape young minds, and it is important that they get shaped like from both sides. Otherwise, they're going to come out half-baked or half-shaped. But on the other hand, if this has been going on now for 20 years, an extraordinarily large number of people in positions in broadcasting and so on emerged from university having only been shaped from one side. They're now leading the national conversation.
Which is
what is the real world?
Okay. Yes, all of those people that are leading the national conversation in the media, right? So where is all this intense left-wing bias? Is it certainly not on GB News, is it? It's certainly not on the national newspapers. It's certainly not on mainstream TV. I'll come on at the end about where these guys basically make their money from, and the level of hypocrisy is really quite astounding. But let's slightly move on, shall we? And again, it's just, I don't know, it's just lazy thinking, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's left-wing media bias, isn't it dreadful? Oh yeah, it's dreadful, yeah.
At what point is the real world?
That's exactly what we're seeing right now. And I thought it was unfair of Lorraine to say to Kathleen that she hadn't been cancelled just because she gets to go on a couple of TV shows. Because she was cancelled, not from television shows, but from her job. She was bullied out of her job, and that's and she's got a serious claim to.
Okay, and yeah, as I said many times in the last week, she resigned. Presumably in the full and certain knowledge that she was going to go to the non-existent University of Austin, Texas, and I would imagine that money had a lot to do with it. So she was going on TV and the BBC radio, and in the full knowledge that her actions would be very comfortably rewarded. And again, perhaps that's just me being quite a cynical left-winger. Maybe.
Yeah, to me. And
is it not adequate then that Lorraine Kelly says, so this is great, we can chat about it on the sofa, because after that sofa chat is over, Lorraine Kelly still has a job and, and an extremely beneficial tax arrangement, and Kathleen Stock is basically going down the DHS and seeing what's available in
Okay, and yes, now this presumably would have been broadcast at a time when it would have been news knowledge, quite common knowledge, that Kathleen Stock was going to a different job. So it's GB News not being up with the news, is it? Or, I don't know, is it Simon's individual problem that he's on a news show where he doesn't know the news? I don't know, really.
Lorraine can say that, you know, banalities like, I believe that trans women are women and trans men are men, without any sort of, you know, proper look at what that actually means.
Okay, banalities. It's not a banal thing to say, or banal thing to say, I should say. And yes, thanks, Leo, that's incredibly dismissive, isn't it? That's just you dismissing it, because to you it is banal. Yeah, straight white bloke, no doubt, just banal that people would come out with this stuff. How does he know whether or not Lorraine Kelly has looked into the science of trans issues? He doesn't, but he hasn't, so therefore he knows what it's all about, and anyone that disagrees with him is just coming out with banalities. Okay.
Because right now I could say I'm a woman, and then I'm a woman. Am I a woman?
Well, you could say you're an attack helicopter, and that wouldn't be funny either. I mean, you could say you're a comedian, but, you know, you can say you're anything, mate, but the evidence points to itself, doesn't it? I mean, we could, like, wax lyrical about people and how they present, but at the moment here, Leo's presenting as a bit of a uninformed individual, should we say?
Definitions seem to be getting slipshod.
Well, there you are, yes, okay. Leo Kearse, yes. The man who allegedly has been banned from the socialist comedy clubs of Scotland, despite the fact if you actually read about it, they just don't find him funny. So now he's sort of just stuck on GB News, and the rest of them, I don't know. The guy has never said anything funny whatsoever. And you get Ian Stone, who, you know, is so anti-establishment, and he's so edgy and out there that he's a regular on Mock the Week and Radio 5, yeah? Or, you know, if you really, really, really want to go there, we could look at Simon. Yeah, okay, let's look at it, shall we? Simon is one of the UK's most respected and established comedians. He's a regular on TV and radio, particularly popular on the corporate and after-dinner circuit. His TV credits include BBC One's Live at the Apollo and Michael McIntyre's Comedy Roadshow, BBC Two's Mock the Week, and was a regular on Channel 4's Stand Up for the Week. Simon's BBC Radio 4 series, Simon Evans Goes to Market, has audience delighting in his witty and insightful take on the unpromising comic territory of commodities trading and wealth. Other BBC Radio 4 appearances include The News Quiz, The Unbelievable Truth, and Amano Iannucci's Charm Offensive. Yeah. So, you know, real outsider there, eh? Yeah, I imagine that all of those BBC producers, through gritted teeth, hire him. Anyway, I guess I really shouldn't get cross about this stuff, but it's not even entertaining. It's just dull.